Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hi. Happy hump day. Happy Wednesday.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Nice. Can I be honest with you? I'm having a day. I don't
having
know
a
what
week.
just happened, but in running from the studio downstairs to the studio upstairs, I spilled coffee. I dropped my crap everywhere. I am just like all over the place for whatever reason this morning, and I just feel like a hot disaster.
Captains of the struggle bus this morning.
Yeah, here reporting for duty. Jeez. Okay. I am just getting some breaking news coming into the newsroom right now from the New York Times. This is really interesting. The Federal Department of Justice, the DOJ, is now opening an investigation into former Governor Andrew Cuomo. And I just wanted to read this to you. This all apparently is to do with his testimony about the pandemic. So according to the New York Times, this article just coming out, the Justice Department has opened that criminal investigation of the former governor. Republicans are accusing him of lying to Congress about decisions he made during the pandemic as governor. It started about a month ago with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington. It puts the Trump administration in the unusual position, they say, of having ended a criminal case against the leader of the nation's largest city and opening an investigation into his chief rival in the span of a few months. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and it's interesting coming off the heels of the nursing home discussion during COVID
Right.
and all of the issues that we had during COVID. I mean, what a weird time that was. And, you know, Cuomo coming in and then out and all of that scandal is just kind of adding to that kind of tarnished legacy at this point.
And remember the investigation into New York City Mayor Eric Adams that was dropped by the Trump administration's DOJ, and the allegations of corruption, basically. But now here we are, and it's one door closes, another one opening. Here.
Right, continuous, keeps going.
So we know a lot of people were affected by that in nursing homes across New York State. The testimony, it seems, coming under fire by some Republicans. So time will tell what actually happens with that investigation and where we go from here.
So if we can go from that case, want to talk about the Gendron case as well?
Yeah, huge deal. So today, Gendron due back in court, at least his case is. It's unclear if Gendron will actually be in the courtroom today, but this case is almost overshadowed by. Well, let me, I guess, first start with the federal case that's happening today. The state of excuse me, I'm reading the comments and trying to think at the same time. The federal case today will hear arguments. There are many arguments to be heard, but one of them in particular is, should this case be moved to June 2026?
So the whole idea here is this was supposed to start in September. We were supposed to be a couple months away from this beginning. Judge moved it to January of 2026, and now Gendron's team, the defense, wants it moved to after June 2026, so it's post year 4 of 514. They don't want it to be close to that anniversary mark or that time of year because they say he wouldn't get a fair shot at the trial.
Then, on the flip side of things, yesterday there was a civil case in court in a completely separate courtroom in Rochester where they were discussing the idea of a gun accessory company and social media companies being held responsible and liable for other aspects of the shooting, in that the shooter was radicalized, right, by what was being seen on social media, and they say that social media had an undue influence on him, and this would never have happened if not for that influence.
That's another aspect of this too. And you talk about, gun manufacturers as well. Who all is at fault when it comes to what happened on 514? There is so much that goes into this, and seeing it play out in every process on the state level, on the federal level, in civil cases like this one. I mean, you just want to see justice at all levels.
So that's happening today. We'll keep you posted as we get more information. I want to go to the comments here because there are a lot of people weighing in on a couple of different things here. The first and foremost comment comes from Mark talking about how the investigation into Cuomo is a political stunt by the DOJ, though Lori says that this is still a weird time knowing the aftermath of COVID. Anita says he deserves no special considerations, an eye for an eye. And then Howard says, would you not get the fact that it is a political game being played since Cuomo is the leader on the Dem side for New York City mayor? Not hard to see.
Yeah. And Lori, to your question about 514, when we did our documentary, which is still available for you to watch on WKBW.com, we talk about what it was like to cover 514. And I wore the same dress intentionally when we were doing that coverage, just to kind of draw that parallel when we were talking about what it was like to be there that day.
And so on that same story, you know, talking about Gendron and the trial and the 514 families, Anita, I believe that you're talking about the shooter here, and I want to make sure that I'm clear before I discuss your comment, whether you're talking about Cuomo or you're talking about the shooter here, because it could apply in either situation. Sarah says, honestly, yes, drag everyone into these shootings, gun companies, advertisers, parents, social media, all of it.
And that's why the conversation is so important, to get to the root cause of, we asked that question, how could something like this happen? How could someone target our city the way they did? How could someone target our neighbors the way that they did? And it comes back to all of those different points, right? The social media of it all, because this was live streamed on a Twitch streaming platform where people can comment and see these things. How did he get the gun? How did he do this research? There's so much that goes into what happened on that day.
And then there's the Discord manifesto.
Right.
All the radicalization there. Anita weighing in here about the shooter in particular. So do not muddle up what he did. He was in complete control of his choices. He is solely at fault. So I want to understand and unpack what you're saying then here, Anita. Are you suggesting that there are no other parties here that are responsible or could be responsible for what happened on May 14th? It is solely on Peyton Gendron. Is that what you're saying? I just want to be clear. Peter says it's interesting, all parties involved in this case beyond Peyton. And then Sarah kind of doubling down here. Don't get me wrong, the shooter should be punished to the absolute fullest.
And we know that, as far as the state charges go, he's going to be in jail for the rest of his life.
Right.
That is already done. When it comes to the death penalty, that's still on the table. The federal government has a lot of decisions to make. We'll see how that trial plays out. There's still so much time to go until, all of this is wrapped up and we see all of the court process play out.
And when you talk about the death penalty still being in play for his actions on a federal level, it's the defense's idea, I suppose, according to the federal government, to drag this along, to prolong his life as soon as possible. Anita says in jail for the rest of his life is not good enough. Cindy says guns don't kill, people do. And then Julie says, I think the internet has a lot of influence on young minds. And we've seen that, right? I mean, when it comes to bullying, when it comes to cyberbullying, all of that stuff is on the phone these days and you can't get away from it.
I think it goes without saying, right? That social media has changed all of our lives, especially young lives. People, who don't remember a time before social media, just grew up with like a phone in their hands or an iPad and those screens. So, is there fault there though? I mean, because it affects so many of us. So I think that'll be interesting to see and almost like set a precedent on what they decide there.
So Peter has an interesting perspective here as well. I think social media platforms should have responsibility on what's put on there. So I can see where social media platforms are in hot water.
Mm-hmm. Mark, not the first time they have been.
No, this would be precedent setting, though.
If they do find fault here,
exactly. Mark, doesn't the gun company have immunity on these cases? So this is not necessarily the gun manufacturer. This is like a part that was used in this case to allow, I believe, and I don't want to speak out of turn here. I don't want to even discuss what I think it is. Let me just Google this because The piece that was used on the gun is what's being called to question here.
Well, Felice asking the question, what about his parents? This kid was killing animals. His parents knew. Then they gave him a gun. I think that's another question. We did see at the school shooting, I believe it was in Michigan, when the parents were charged there. So, I mean, that was the precedent for that one. Anita says, I agree. Social media had changed everything, but our own free will is ultimately the end result.
Michael Schwartz. What are we going to do with him? He did not post a story online.
Oh.
Michael Schwartz.
Called out.
But that's where we would get the answers to that question. But I know that do you know what I'm talking about, John?
I'm looking for it.
It was in our script. We'd have to go through
what did that one piece do?
Right. I don't remember what it was called.
I don't either. It did one of two things, and I don't want to speak out of turn or speak improperly about what the piece actually did.
Kelly says you can be told over and over again that it's horrible. You can tell them not to watch or do that. Ultimately, you picked up the gun. You made the decision.
Well, and it's not like he's not being held responsible.
Right.
But are there other aspects of this that
should anyone else be held responsible, including, social media and even, his parents at this point is the question.
Okay, we don't actually
it's
say...
the gun accessory manufacturer, right, but we don't say exactly what the piece is that's in question.
It did something with the ammunition. I know that for a fact, but...
Is Mark right here? He says it made the gun rapid fire.
That's what I thought too, but I didn't really... That's what I was thinking. But either way, Howard, Michael's in trouble. We'll be watching that one for you throughout the day because we know, right, he modified the gun. Yes, that's what that piece did. And it becomes a problem in New York.
Yeah, right.
So, go ahead.
Just bringing up a traffic alert.
Oh, okay, thank you.
There is a crash on the 190 at the 198 northbound. So you can see some pretty heavy backup. So if you're hitting the road right now, you probably shouldn't be watching us. But
if you're about to leave the house.
If you're about to leave the house, that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, this is exit 11, the Skajackwada here on the 190. It's always kind of a tight area there, and you have traffic coming through, so you can see those emergency vehicles blocking that left lane, and everyone having to squeeze into the right lane and try to get around it. So a definite slowdown. So take your time. We also saw an accident earlier this morning that caused a major slowdown on the 90. Those roads are wet. That rain is coming down now, so got to be careful.
Kelly, just circling back here, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that he is still a kid. Where are his parents? How did he get to this point? So, we have to actually, I think, parse that out. He's not a kid. He was 18.
Not anymore, yeah.
Right? He in the eyes of the law,
old
is
enough
a man.
to vote.
Right. But how did he get to this point is the question, and I think that's what they're saying. The social media companies may have a role in radicalization there.
Anita says, how far do we go down the line for accountability? Too much litigation. He is solely responsible for his actions.
And then Sheila says, oh my gosh, is he a celebrity or a murderer? He's getting a lot of attention. I'm tired of his presence.
That's fair.
Felice says, I wasn't watching the news that day. My lifelong friend texted me, we are being hunted. I was so confused. I turned on the news and was bawling. Yeah, it's sad. Jay, either way, it was wrong and people died because of him. We need justice and he needs to pay the price. Felice kind of going back to that, saying the things my black friends and their kids have experienced is disgusting. Jeanette, old enough to vote and fight in war, better know how to be responsible with a gun. In a lighter note, today is Josh Allen's birthday.
Oh my gosh, is it? Yeah, he's 29.
Wow, remember when he came here? A baby.
Yeah, he's just, fresh out. Oh my God, he's changed so much.
I know, his little face has matured.
I know, he had such a baby face. Yeah. Now he's got the long locks, he's getting married. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Speaking of the Bills and everything that's going on to Devere and all of the development that's going on in Orchard Park, we love to look at the stadium. I was there the other day when we were talking about the movie being filmed, and you can see the first seats were put in. So much has changed inside and outside. We saw the last steel beam put in. But when it comes to the surrounding areas of the stadium, we're talking all of the South Towns, really, Hamburg, Orchard Park, a lot's got to happen, right? I mean, in order to be that destination, that place where we want Taylor Swift to come one day, that place where we want fans to come in to host the draft, we've got to do more and we've got to have more for people. So there were studies that were done already for the Orchard Park area and the zoning to convert this part shaded in blue to allow for hotels, restaurants, bars, and retail stores. But now there's discussion about the Hamburg, think McKinley area.
Southwestern, yeah.
Yeah, to add more as far as same kind of thing, hotels, bars, restaurants, more businesses, just to kind of amp up the space around the stadium.
What do you want to see there? A little bit earlier we were talking about more family businesses. We're talking about mixed use space here. No, I don't think anyone was saying he's 39.
No, 29. He's 29.
Hotels for sure, Felice says. Yeah, that would be kind of cool, right? I mean, we know how many people stay in downtown Buffalo. We know how many hotels we have and, perhaps a lack of hotels in some cases. But would more people stay near the stadium if there was the option?
Felice has an indoor water park hotel.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Let's get fun with it, I mean, like, we can
Outside
be creative.
box,
Yeah. Kelly says sidewalks, and that was another big thing.
But she LOLs.
I know. Well,
simple.
Right. It's the easy things, right? The things that you would think would already be there. But that's a big need. We need it to be a walkable area so that you can make your way down to the stadium, or you can be leaving the stadium, go back to your hotel, and just get to enjoy all the amenities that the area can offer.
Okay, this is a great point from Anita. Can businesses maintain during off season and off weeks?
I think that's why we
Right.
need other things to come to Highmark outside of, the season. So, I mean, I think there's a concert coming up there soon. When I was out there, I forget, some country artist is coming to Highmark Stadium at some point this summer. They were advertising it, but I forget already. But if we had bigger names and more concerts and more events and all together, just things going on constantly year round at Highmark, then there would be more going on. Those businesses wouldn't have to worry.
Right, we're talking about 9 days, literally days in particular, that the Bills are in the stadium.
It's such a small window of opportunity.
Right.
So if you're telling me, hey, why don't you invest in this area and start a business here? I mean, it's like, well, what am I going to get? Who are going to be my customers?
I'm a believer of... Is it George Strait?
Yes,
Okay.
Sarah, you're right. It's George Strait.
I'm a believer of build it and they will come. It's got to be
Scary though.
You know what though? It comes down to good leadership.
That's true.
And if there is a thinker who is there kind of to change things up, think outside the box.
You have to take some risks. You
Right?
have to spend money to make money. And then there was another good point. Megan says maybe there would be fewer DUIs if hotels were there.
Also a great point.
And there's so many accidents, right? We saw a lot this past year where people were getting hit by cars, that traffic and all of the mayhem that happens after the game with everyone trying to rush home. If there were more hotels and if it was more walkable, maybe we could see fewer incidents happening there.
Felice says that she was a season ticket holder in the 90s, haven't been to a game in years. We are definitely going to the new stadium. So I was saying this a little bit earlier in the week, that I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get individual game tickets.
Because of the season tickets?
Yes.
Okay.
At the new stadium. And, this is just, I was discussing this with the rep that we met with on Friday. And what she told me was that they're not going to have ticket brokers buying up tickets, so they're not going to be resold on like the secondhand market. So right now, a lot of these brokers are buying up seats,
Right.
And then selling them. That's not going to happen in the new stadium. They're eliminating that, and
And there are fewer seats, right?
Right. So I think 10,000 fewer seats. So if you're a season ticket holder and you're selling your ticket, how many fewer tickets are going to be sold on the individual game day market, resale,
Right.
and how much more are they going to be?
I was going to say you got to crank up that price to make sure you get your money's worth.
Exactly.
Because there won't be as many out there.
Excuse me. Anita says, Buffalo is a beautiful city with so much to offer. I would love to see the growth in Buffalo like Pittsburgh had since the demise of the steel industry. That took a lot of years.
Yeah, it's something that's going to take time, but I think I'm optimistic thinking about, 2026 is the year when we'll see the new stadium, but, let's think about like 2036. What will it look like when all that development is done? And, the Bills have several Super Bowls by then and everything is just kind of bright sunshine and rose. I'm thinking, rose-colored glasses, obviously, but there could be so much to enjoy down there.
Denise says the NFTA needs to provide steady transportation. So right now they do, in that there is the Game Day Express that goes from certain points around like Niagara County, Erie County, and takes you to and from the stadium for $10 total and drops you off. Here's the reality is we've had the same, in Buffalo in particular, we have had the same mayor for nearly 20 years. So what changes need to be made moving forward now that we have new leadership coming in, whether it's going to be a Democrat or a Republican, which Democrat it is, that wins the primary. There are so many questions and so much hangs in the balance of this upcoming election.
I think it's opportunities. I think it's, more saying yes to more things. You see, the soccer stadium that's going to come, so that'll be a big deal. Philly's mentioned the Buffalo Braves. Like, remember that?
Yes, the basketball team.
She also said, back in the day, there used to be so many more concerts. Like, the Jacksons used to come, Guns N' Roses, Monsters of Rock every summer. People went to Pearl Jam. I went to Pearl Jam in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
But Pearl Jam came kind of Buffalo. Aaron Mikowski would go crazy.
I know, that would be nuts.
I think isn't he going to Chicago?
I think so.
You got to go, if you want to see your favorite artist, you got to go out of Buffalo, and hopefully that won't be the case down the line.
Megan, I love your point here too. There was a house for sale around the stadium, I believe she's talking about, and the price was so high, but I think the homeowners around there are using this as an opportunity to get a lot of money for their home, for the area to be built up for the new stadium. So it's almost like the stadium has helped increase the value of these homes.
But I mean, the reality for homeowners there is that, your backyard is not going to look the same. Things are going to change drastically for people who live in that general area around the stadium. I mean, the goal is to have more foot traffic, more people walking around. I mean, the South Towns are pretty chill, pretty quiet, and
spread out.
Yeah, very community feel, small town feel. And I think that a lot will change if we see all the development that we're talking about.
My biggest question here too is about the private lots as well. What will become of those private lots? Will they be allowed to continue operating? Because so many of these homeowners and the private lot owners are, taxpayers. They are using the income that they're getting to pay their home insurance, to pay taxes in some cases.
And then all of that, if that goes away, I mean, what does that do for them? Barbara says, to Anita's point, it needs to be a place that works year round, not just a football center destination, maybe a more 716 relatable area that could draw locals and entice out-of-towners to return not just for a football game.
I want to highlight Rosemary's voice here. Rosemary, good morning to you. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Rosemary says, I'm living in Kentucky, but I'm from Niagara Falls. I really like watching you every day. We really appreciate you, Rosemary. Happy to share your voice and glad that we can connect you back with our 716.
Yes, spread the word. Tell your friends. Every morning, 8 o'clock.
This is interesting. Remember, Ralph Wilson did not want concerts when he owned the Bills.
Why not?
I don't know. But, it's a legacy, sure. But we move forward.
I mean, we have to, right? Like, if you don't grow, then you just stay where you are. And I think our city and our area just needs more things to do, more to draw people in.
Okay, so I want to tell you about a personal mantra of mine. I have been living under the philosophy, I suppose. The philosophy of adapt or die. And that sounds kind of dramatic. But here's the reality. Like, in our industry, you have to adapt. You have to be thinking next level, and you have to be thinking like 5 steps ahead in order to progress. And I think that is true for any industry right now in 2025. You have to adapt or you're going to die. And maybe not physically, but your industry, your future, your career.
You have to be willing to move forward.
Right, could wilt on the vine.
Yeah. I'm looking right now at Highmark's website, and if you go to the event calendar, there's only one thing on there. It's just that George Strait concert and Chris Stapleton for June 14th. You would think that there would be more. There would be more things. And if you have more, people will come and people will do more.
That's my thought.
And I think you'll have a lot more.
Downtown Buffalo, the same thing, right? I mean, like if there was actually a grocery store downtown, like a real grocery store, would more people be interested in moving downtown? Would there be more businesses downtown, more competition? Like this is just the way I think. Like if you build it, more people will come.
Yeah. And there will be more to do and more for everybody to benefit, and then more people want to bring their businesses, and I don't know.
Anita says, adapt or die. I was really struggling with that over the last 11 days. She had a knee replacement, so I can imagine how difficult that was.
You're doing great, though.
Jeanette says, though, Buffalo is one of only 5 concerts George Strait is doing this year.
I mean, it is. I'm glad he picked Buffalo. I wonder why.
Great for us. Felice says, downtown Buffalo used to be jumpin' back in the day. Anita, I learned that adaptation also takes time and patience.
Okay, so I looked at the Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, their event calendar. They also have George Strait coming.
Okay.
Then they have Billy Joel. They have some kind of, I think, college football events that are going on there. But they have stuff all through the summer just for people to show up to. Why can't we have, what if UB played a game there and they had a special game at Highmark or something like that?
Right.
Attract some people in there.
Megan says, I don't understand why the new stadium wasn't a dome or have a retractable roof because they could have had more events there year round.
It is partially covered. I mean, I think that was a big debate too because people like the snow games. It's what makes Buffalo Buffalo and playing in the snow. I imagine that hopefully it's a little bit more comfortable than what we're experiencing now. So we'll just have to wait and see what it looks and feels like. But
I love Peter's comment here because, Peter, we love having you as a cuppy. We love having you in, but I'm going to respectfully push back a little bit here.
Uh-oh.
Not that there is not potential for Buffalo. There is so much potential for Buffalo. But we've been saying that for so long.
How long has this renaissance been?
Oh my God,
loading.
Well, and for as much potential as Buffalo has, and as forward and progressive as we were, the pandemic set us back years, and now we can't figure out how to get out of that hole. And I know it's happening in every city. I know it's happening across the country, and downtowns across the country are struggling. But come on, we have got to do better for ourselves, and we just need to say, what are the resources here? How can we use those resources? And how can we think differently about these resources? We're having to do that here. Why can't we do that on a governmental level, on a public policy level? Let's do better.
I think when we see that small incremental progress and you see, obviously there's not nothing. There's a lot to enjoy and there's so much that we love. And it's because we love our area. It's because we love the 716 in Buffalo that we want to see more. Charlie has a good point. A conversation should have taken place a while ago. We should have been planning for today, and we were, and obviously, COVID is a setback, but at what point do we have to
let's stop blaming COVID. Let's move on.
Come on, 2025.
I mean, we are halfway through the decade. Mark says, whoever becomes the next mayor and county executive need to think out of the box. Yeah.
Cindy says, I would like to support local, but have to travel to PA for good concerts and other events, or Toronto. I mean, people are going to, they have to cross the border to get, that live entertainment experience or to get exactly what they're looking for.
Gaga came to Buffalo probably 12 years ago. Maybe, no, probably was about 10, 11, 12 years ago. But she's going to Toronto now.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to see my second show in Toronto in the last however many months. I went in November. I'm going to go see her, in September. But Buffalo could be a great middle ground too. Buffalo could be a great middle ground between New York City and Toronto.
It seems like everyone who's planning their tours is okay, we can do Pittsburgh, and then we can get the people from Buffalo, or we can do Toronto. But there's no reason to do all three. I'm going to Beyonce this weekend, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's coming to Buffalo." I'm like, "No, she's coming to Jersey, and I'm going to go down and stay with my friend." But it's tough. Share.
Do you believe in life after love?
You believe?
Can we turn back time? Would love to for the city of Buffalo, get back to the days of that, actual booming city. But
I want to address Jeanette's comment here.
Girl.
Many have tried. Many have failed. Anyone who does try will fail. I am past the point of learning how to ride a bike. I'm okay. I have a car. I have 2 feet.
Right. I was going to say, she got her own 2 feet instead of her own 2 wheels.
And we're good. I appreciate you for caring about me. You don't live far. You're willing to teach me. A lot of people have been willing to teach. I wish my dad was in the comments today. He might be. He tried to teach me, and this is where I'm at. I'm just going to be someone that doesn't know how to ride a bike, and that's fine.
It's okay.
What is your quote?
Adapt or die.
I'm going to die on the bike hill.
Have a great day.